I'm sorry, my dove. What I said to you, pushing you away, I just don't know what to tell you.
Why don't you try telling me the truth? I told you my truth. I love you.
And I am completely undeserving of it.
No, you are deserving of it.
No, not if you knew who I really was.
Then you're going to have to take a risk and tell me.
You told me you don't believe in ghosts. Do you believe in the supernatural at all?
I've never seen proof of them existing.
So you need proof. You just can't take people at their word.
What are you doing?
Take it.
What is this?
I want you to stab me with it.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Take it and do it. I want you to see.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Then I'm going to do it myself.
What? No! No! Wait, stop!
I love you!
No!
Don't cry. Don't cry. Look, I'm okay.
Why did you do that? You're healing. What?
I had to show you that I can die.
I don't understand. Are you a vampire?
I suppose I like a dramatic reveal. I am the one they call Dracula. Hi everybody, I'm Joe.
And I'm Mary.
And we're Book Buds! And today we are discussing a book that I found by accident, Blood Orange by Karina Halle, and I loved it. Mary?
I mean, it was good.
So I found this at when we were doing our last book tag.
Yes.
You needed a book
prompt
with the orange in the title.
Yes.
And I was looking because I didn't want to do a Clockwork Orange like every other Joe Schmo in the world. So I found this one and I read the synopsis and I'm like, I sent it to Mary. I'm like, I think I just found our favorite new series. Well, it's only a duo.
Favorite.
I loved it.
I mean, it sounded really good, and I loved parts of it for sure.
Yeah.
So it's Dracula's story, and it's an erotic romance.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
The synopsis didn't really let on, did it?
Not
I was
the way
like,
you talked about it.
And then in chapter 1, bang! It's like, I'm like, oh, okay. And then it just kept happening over and over again. I'm like, okay, so I'm reading.
2.
I called it my sex book. I'm like, okay, I got to go listen to my sex book. It's a sex book.
It really was.
Yeah.
But the story was great too. It was Dracula's story, and I loved that it was like we had our main vampire guy who he had been interviewed by the
Bram
author.
Stoker. Oh, I loved that.
And he's like referring to Bram and like oh, he liked to make me look that way.
Yeah,
something like that.
He blew everything out of proportion. He got this wrong, that wrong.
Yes,
so funny.
I thought that was hilarious. I enjoyed that.
That was a good opening.
Yeah, so it was a great story. It had a good plot, but the first book, it's a duology, and the first book, you're like, wow, there's so much that could happen. But then once the like major sex starts happening, the story stopped.
Yeah. And
it was like really like a to be continued after all this sex is done. But wait, we won't even get to it in this book.
Yeah.
So
right.
book 2 is giving us like more of the story. A lot of sex, guys. Lots and lots.
And like explicit beyond explicit.
Yeah.
Like I was like, whoa, okay, here we are.
Yeah.
So I don't read these books, but
Yeah.
you've read some in your life. How is this comparing with the sex?
I would say like
sheesh.
Anything I've read probably has had about half of this volume of sex. The quantity of sex in this is like double anything that I've read before.
Okay.
It's quite abundant.
And what about like the explicit content? Same or usual?
I've read that level of explicit content, I feel like, but when it's in shorter bursts, it doesn't feel as pronounced. Like these are really long stretches of all of that, so it's more significant.
Yeah, there are some memorable scenes, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
One involving a cello bow. Have fun. Wow.
I mean, they're musicians, so.
Yeah. Oh, there was something we had to talk about it off camera. I can't even mention it, but don't forget because I wanted to tell you about it. All right, should we tell them the story?
The story, yeah. So she's a witch, and Dracula is not going to be happy that this girl is a witch, and she has to kill him. She's in like this witches guild, and there's this book that's fallen into the wrong hands, and so she goes and she kills all sorts of vampires, and now she has to kill him. So she glamours herself so that he can't tell that she's a witch, which is pretty significant because then she can get close to him and all of that. And should we say about the past lives? Yes, right?
Yeah, so she was, when she was younger, her parents were killed by vampires, and then she was taken under by the Witches Guild and trained to be a vampire slayer. So she doesn't know it, and he doesn't know it, but she is a reincarnated past love times 2.
Yes.
She already has been reincarnated twice.
Yeah, and
So,
been
centuries
deeply in
ago-
love with him both of those times. Do I have a bug on me?
Yeah.
Thank you for saving me.
Yeah, centuries ago, they were together.
Yeah.
And that was crazy. So, like, her father killed her. She was pregnant. They were
Yes.
in love.
Yeah.
It was when he turned. The vampire lore is pretty cool.
It is cool, yeah.
So vampires, when their men turn at age 35, women turn at age 21. So on the year that he was turning, they were in love. She was pregnant. Her father
Is like killing her.
killed her right in front of him.
Right, and it all happens before he turns into a vampire. So she never knew that he was a vampire during the first life that they had together.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So then he's like in agony because now he's living forever without his love. And then she comes back as Lucy.
He finds her again, and she looks exactly the same, which is wild.
Yes.
Like you would think if you were reincarnated, you would look a little different.
Yeah.
But he sees her, and it's exactly her again. So
Yeah.
when it's the third time, the book that we're reading now, and she's got this cloaking
glamour
thing
spell,
on
yeah.
her so that he can't see the witch, he also can't see that it looks like her, so he doesn't
Right.
realize it's her.
Right.
Yeah, but they're falling in love very rapidly, and they have that connection. And she doesn't quite understand that she's those people either. She has like these intrusive
Right.
memories,
Like
like
dreams
and
almost.
stuff. And she's like, "Why am I thinking these things?" And she doesn't even realize that it's
Yeah.
him in those images.
Yeah.
So you're like discovering together. you
Yeah.
know, like as
Like
they figure it out.
They suffer.
Yeah.
So he's a vampire. He's killing people because he's in such grief over losing her 2 times.
Yeah.
So he goes on a spree and like kills everybody. So like he's suffering without his love. All right, he's a vampire killing people, but you kind of feel bad for him. And then she just keeps being murdered over and over again, ripped away from
Right.
him.
But now she's got to kill him.
Now she's got to kill him.
And as soon as she like gets close enough to him, she's like drooling all over him, falls in love with him. That like, and they're having sex nonstop.
And
it's just like, well, I guess I'm not going to kill him.
yeah, yeah.
So I felt like at that moment, I laughed because I was like, oh, major plot change right here, and like, stories interrupted, and there was so much sex then at that point. And we didn't finish the story. We finished everything else.
Yeah.
We didn't finish the story. I don't know, but you didn't find that too disruptive?
Well, I mean, I don't really typically like these paranormal romances. I don't know what's come over me.
Because it was Dracula. I think it was
Yeah,
cool
it's
because
October,
it was
it's
Dracula.
Halloween. I like Dracula. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
listening to the audiobook and he sounds just like Dracula.
Yeah,
he's doing a great
got
job.
the whole Transylvania sound.
So I don't know. I don't know why it's not bothering me. I'm just like, all right. And yeah, I noticed the parts where I would be like, oh God, this is so stupid. But I guess I was just distracted by all the sex. I'm like, all right, let's go. I don't know.
Then the end ends in a way that you wouldn't expect.
Woo, that end. Whoa.
Yeah.
That was great.
It was a little surprising.
Yeah.
We won't give it away.
No.
But definitely if you read the first one, you should plan on reading the second one, I feel like, because the story is incomplete. Now, we've started listening to the second one. I'm much further in than Joe is. You're loving it because the whole beginning of the second one is all story. There's like no sex. Meanwhile, the first one, it was like every chapter because they were doing all these flashbacks. So it was all the sex that he had with the prior versions of her.
Yeah.
So like you didn't have to work up to the relationship to get the sex. It was like nonstop.
Right.
So,
Yep.
so this next book, they're not together at the beginning, and you get a whole bunch of story and much more plot, and it's wonderful.
So good.
Excellent Dracula vampire story stuff going on.
Very involved. The lore is great.
Yes, and he's not to the part yet where they're together, so it does derail again. But I haven't finished it yet, so I can't speak for the whole book. But it is an overall darker vibe than the first one, and that's all I'm going to say because I don't want to spoil for my bud.
Yeah, don't spoil. I like dark. Let's do it.
There's one scene though that in the second one that I'm like, ugh.
I can't wait to get to it.
It's not a sex scene, but it's a disturbing ugh. And I said it to Joe. I'm like, oh, just wait. I don't know if you're still gonna like this book.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll see.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
So this is a very different, spooky kind of read for you guys with Dracula and Halloween time. So those of you that might like this type of thing, we figured we'd put a shout out there for you to consider this for your Halloween reading.
And if you like sex, you'll love it too. It has everything for you.
Yes.
All right, if you're enjoying Book Buds, give us a thumbs up.
And share us with your friends.
And subscribe to our channel, Book Buds!
What a reenactment scene today. Are these guys readers or actors?
I want to suck your blood. Ooh, you're smacking me in the face.
Sorry.
Watch what you're fucking doing.
We're now in the season of wind that I hate.
Can you tie this
Yes.
so I can move on with my life? I can be able to talk with these in. Let's see.
I mean, he doesn't have his fangs out at the beginning.
It's a video of Dracula. I'm sorry, my dog. Pushing you away. What I said to you was uncalled for and undeserved.
No, that's terrible.
Not gonna work, is it?
Well, do. You are deserving of it.
You told me you don't believe in ghosts. Does that still hold true?
That's true. No, I'm not going to stab you.
Okay, then I'll do it myself. Where am I gonna stab myself?
Right here in your heart.
And then we're just gonna pretend it's healing?
Cover it with the blade.
I'm not showing my body.
Because
I know, I'm like...
I put that in there that you take
Yeah,
your shirt off.
I'm like, this bitch is crazy. I can't even get a certain angle because of my fat neck. That's why I'm like, okay, I'll just do this. I'm like, but that's triggering.
I knew you would read that. And you'd be like, take my shirt off.
I need Ozempic first.
Oh my God.
Okay.
No, not your gut, your heart, right here. Because this is going to be like better on camera. And then cover the blade with your hand.
Such
so
a
it looks
great...
like it's...
Oh, my love. I just don't know what to tell you. I want to suck. I had to do that to get into it. I want to suck your blood. I'm sorry, my dove, pushing you away.
No, stop. And you
Don't cry. I'm okay. Remove blade. Remove the blade. Rip off the shirt.